All right, so we're recording in a session now. I'm going to mute everyone just to make sure we have, so it's not too loud. If you have a question, just you can click the raise your hand function in the Zoom. You're able to raise your hand, and then I can see it. So I'm going to mute everyone now. Not actually raise your hand. You can actually raise your hand in the actual program, which is a good function. All right, especially when you have a lot of people in. So I'm gonna mute everyone now. If you have a question, just raise your hand, or you can write a message in the chat box. Okay. All right. I thank everyone for logging in on this impromptu meeting. As everyone is aware, the world is coming to an end, and we're all going to be zombies. So because we're going to be zombies, we need to start putting our lessons online or engaging students online because that's what good zombies do. Good zombies learn online. So what I want to do is give you some pointers on how to use what we should put online. Now, as you can see, we're on Zoom right now, and it works pretty well with my basic 4G internet, and it looks like everything is working well. So Zoom is a great way to do interactive lessons. I'm not sure if we should do interactive lessons because I'm not sure of the value it's going to have for students. So that's something we have to think about. However, we may be mandated to do so. So if we're mandated to do so, Zoom would be a great tool that you can use because there is the free version allows you to have up to 50 minutes of classroom instruction for free, and you can have 50 students. All right, somebody's raising their hand. Let me get your question. You have a question? You raised your hand, Mr. Who raised their hand? Did you raise your hand? Or were you testing the system out? Mr. Who's on the honor phone? Did you have a question?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, because you raised your hand. You clicked the raise your hand button. So
yes.
So
to show that I am owner.
Ah, got you. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now I can lower his hand. So that's okay. A good function. That's a good function that you could use. So if we have to use or have interactive virtual lessons, Zoom would be a good platform, as you can see. Zoom also allows you to share your screen. And I'm going to show you that now. So you can share your screen by clicking one button. If you already have documents open on your computer, you can share those documents by pressing the share your screen button, and anyone can share, even you guys can share. So for instance, I want to share with you guys, where is it? Where is the one I want to share with you? Hold on a second. Let me take some stuff off. Let's see. Get out of there. Let me do that again. If you cannot hear, then you have to make sure that the on the left-hand side, the microphone is actually activated. So you may have to log in, log off, and log back in if you cannot hear. Or well, you can't hear me say that. So log in. I can type it. Log in. and log off. Make sure you use your computer, your device, microphone, and speakers. All right, somebody just sent me a message saying they cannot hear, and I'm typing them a message to reply back. Okay. All right, so let's try to share my screen again. And everyone should see my screen. All right. So you can see this, you can see my screen. So if you were teaching an interactive lesson, you can actually show a PowerPoint here, anything you want to show. So what I want to share with you on this slide is something to think about, because we're going to use Google Classroom because that would be the easiest right now. There are other platforms such as Asadarah and all those. They're great platforms, but for the purposes of time and ease of use, Google Classroom may be the better platform to use. So some of the things I want you to think about before we look at Google Classroom is how you want to set your classroom up. You most definitely want to have a place in your classroom where you give the student the learning objectives, and then you want to have a place where they can actually do an activity or know what you expect of them, whether you want them to read some chapters or do a certain activity or worksheet that will be uploaded to the classroom. And then you want to provide some type of support, whether it's a video or audio or PowerPoint presentation, where you support that activity that you had or those activities that you had them do. You also want to give opportunities for feedback if the students didn't understand something, so you can set up a stream or a chat experience where they can ask you questions or they can email you questions. And then at some point, you want to give an assessment to make sure they understood and learned something from that experience based on the objectives. And then you might want to think of some additional resources. So I'm going to upload this to the Google Classroom that I'm going to create in front of you today so you guys can see it. All right. And have this. So this is a good model to use. So because one of the fears of just putting things online and that it looks sloppy, and that'd be a poor reflection because that's in front of the whole universe to see, right? Anything you put online, anyone can see. And if we just put sloppy work, then that could be a poor reflection of the school. So we want to make sure that we put good work that we're proud of and that it's organized and that we have uniformity and we have parity between not only the boys section and the girls section, but between all departments and all teachers within the departments. So this is a good format or format to use. A folder for learning objectives, a spatial folder for instructions, teacher support, feedback, assessments. And we'll talk about how we organize that later. Okay. So I can stop sharing my screen. Any questions about that?
انا مش عايز تاني اصلا، انا مش محتاج تاني والله.
Any
محتاج
questions about that?
والله ما محتاجه يا لهوي. طب خد يا عم، انت مش عايز تاخد منه، عايز تاخد منه. مش دي اصلا ماشي بظريف مش.
You see how somebody was just talking? That's one of the disadvantages of using Zoom, and that's why you have to mute people because there'll be a lot of background noise. And if students are not familiar with the system and they're trying to ask you questions and you're trying to communicate with them virtually, it can be very disturbing, especially if they don't know how to unmute themselves. Okay, so this is one disadvantage of using virtual classrooms like this. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to share my screen again. Okay, and I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to look at Google Classroom. I'm going to show you some classrooms I already have now active, and I'm going to show, and then we're going to create a classroom together, and then I'll let you go. So let me go back and share my screen again, and then I want to share this. All right, everyone should see that up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to google.com. All right. Now, in the upper right-hand box, and then if you're English, if you use the English version, and if you're using the Arabic version, it's going to probably be in the upper left-hand box. There's going to be one box with 9 smaller boxes. Just click on it. Let me move that out of the way. Click on it. And then you're going to get all your apps that you have in Google. If you scroll down, you should see Google Classroom. If you do not see Google Classroom, what you need to do is log on to your Gmail and then type in Google Classroom in the search bar. And then what that would do is it will upload it to your Google account. Okay. So let's open Google Classroom. That's the icon right here. And as you can see, I use Google Classroom a lot for my different trainings. But let's just go to my TESOL course right here. Now, I just use Google Classroom for teachers to upload work, or the candidates to upload work. Now, notice in the stream, every time I do something, it goes into the stream. Okay, or anyone does anything, it goes into the stream for everyone to use. Now, this may be a good part of the feedback. Remember, there's in that workflow chart, it was an opportunity for feedback. So students can actually provide feedback here, okay? Share something with your class. And then you as the teacher, you can give feedback. You can give actual feedback, okay? Now let's look at a class work. Class work tab, this is where your lessons will be organized, okay? And you see I have learning profiling, learning theories, reflective journals. This is how we organize it for my TESOL course. TESOL videos, teaching writing journals, okay? That's how we organized it for this course. But we're not gonna do the same thing for Sadarah. We're gonna do it a little bit better. Also, notice you have a Google Calendar right here that interacts with Google Classroom, and you have a class drive folder that interacts. Okay, so let me get out of this classroom and let's create a Google Classroom together. Or let me create one in front of you. All right, now here's all my classrooms. If you haven't created a classroom, you won't have anything here. But you will have this plus sign, okay? So you wanna click on the plus sign. It says create or join a class. So click on that. And you can, right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a class. We'll go back to join a class later, okay? And it's gonna give you this dialog box. Just click it. And then we're gonna name it, and let's say we name it reading Mr. Ray's 4th grade reading class. All right, and if you have a section, and you can put subject, and then whatever room 200. Okay, you can leave it blank. Then we just click as create. Okay, and it's going to create the class. Okay, now we have it. You see it here, Mr. Ray's reading class. Right now we don't have any students. All right. So that's it was simple as that to create the class. Now, what I want to highlight here is the class code. This is very important because this is the code you're going to give your students. So let's talk about that really briefly. Let's go to the People tab. If you click on the People tab, you can do a couple things here. Now, I had to get with Ms. Khatoon and Mr. Sabaha to figure out how we want to do this. But we can have one lesson for all the reading teachers, all the writing teachers. We can have just one folder, and all the third grade writing teachers, students who are in third grade writing will use that. Or probably what we're going to do is just do individual classes. So we have to decide that. If we're going to do consolidated classes, then you can have more than one teacher here. So we can just click on that and invite a teacher using their email. They don't have to be on Gmail, okay? Here, we can add students by adding their email, okay? Or we can go back to the stream and you can give the student the code, okay? Now, if you give the students the code, they can copy and paste this code, and then they can go back, and what they will do is they will press the plus sign, click join class, and then paste this code or write the code there and then join. And that's how they would get into your class. So they can do it two ways. You can add them by email. If you add them by email, they still have to click on the link. The better thing to do is give them the code and have their mothers and fathers, or if they're big enough, to go and paste or write the code here and then click join, and that'd be a part of your class. Okay, so that's how you add students. All right, let's talk about how we would organize this. So going back to that one chart that we had, if I could pull it up really briefly. Remember this chart here? All right, so what I'm gonna do, what I think the best thing to do here is we're gonna create it week by week, okay? Week by week. So we're gonna do create. We're gonna click the create button. And then we're gonna do maybe, let's see, we're going to create an assignment. And the assignment is circle the subject in each, sorry, subjects. So the title is subjects. Subjects and verbs. Let's make that the title. Subjects and verbs. Okay. And in instructions, we're going to put simple instructions. In the following worksheet, please underline the subject and circle the verb. Okay. And then if you had a PDF or a Word document, we'll just create add, and then we'll find that document, right? And I'm just going to put any document, select files, or you can drag the file. And let's just say it's this for make-believe purposes, for training purposes. And we just upload that document. So now that document is there, and this is the worksheet we want them to do, okay? And we give them the instructions. So then we go back to this side, and we designate how many points we want to make. Was ungraded, so it's not for grade. If we're going to send it to all our students, and then the due date, if there's a due date, if it's due by the 18th, and then if there's a specific time, you can put a time, 8 by 8 p.m. Okay. And then there's the topic. Now, this is important because this is going to help you organize. Create a topic, and we're going to, maybe we call this week 9. Okay? So all these things are going to go on week 9 folder. Okay? And then if you have a rubric, you can add a rubric there. You can also create a rubric for this activity, which a lot of you may want to do. And then we click assign. All right, and it's assigned. So now in the classwork stream, in the classwork folder, you have week 9. So students can click on week 9, and they see that you assign them a worksheet dealing with circling, underlining the subject and circling the verb. Okay. Now, before we do that, not before we do that, when we do that, we need to give an objective, right? Just like we would in class. So we create again, and this could be material. And here we can do objectives, week 9. And then here you can do day 1. So we can do week 9 and then Sunday. And then you can list the objectives. Students will be able to circle or identify the subject and verb of a sentence by circling, or actually, let me write a better adjective. Students will be able to circle the subject and underline the verb of given sentences. Okay, and then if you have another objective, you can just list all your objectives there. Students will be able to write a sentence with proper subject verb agreement. All right, and then you can list all your objectives right there for day 1. Then you can list your objectives for Monday, Tuesday, so on and so forth. You list your objectives. All right, students will be able to yada, yada, yada. Okay, Sunday. Students will be able to correct a peer's edit a peer's sentence for proper subject verb agreement. You can do this all down the line, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then if you have a document or you've already typed it up and you just want them to open it up, you can type it up in a Word document, PDF, PowerPoint, and you can add it here if you don't want to type it here. However you want to do it, all right? And then you post, and then before you post it, you go to topic and you post it under week 9. And you go post. So now let's see how it looks. All right. So now when the student opens up week 9 folder, they see objectives for week 9. They can open those objectives up and see what they have to do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday as their learning outcomes. And then subject verb agreement. Okay. This is what you're going to have. So this is subject verb agreement. And we could probably organize this out a little bit more. So let's edit this, and we edit by using the three dots here. We go to edit, and then we can say Sunday's lesson, subject verb agreements. All right, and then save it. All right, so now the students can see that Sunday. Then we can create another one. We make that as assignment. Why? Because when you make it an assignment, it'll actually go into the grade book that Google Classroom already has developed. So everything will be nice and organized for you. So let's do Monday lesson. Is you want them to do what? You want this? This will be prepositions. Or maybe Monday lesson is a reading. The man in the purple hat. All right, and instructions. You ask the students will read the short story "Man in Purple Hat" and answer the questions on page 16. Okay, and if there's a worksheet or whatever, or you want to include those actual pages that they want to read from the book, you can just add it there. Okay, so that's Monday, and then we put that where? Under week 9, and then assign. Okay, so now you can see we're just going to organize this objectives week 9. So now you got, we'll just put Sunday here, so it's nice and organized. So Sunday's lesson, Monday's lesson. All right. Now let's say the next thing we just putting Sunday and Monday's lesson up. Okay. But if you go back, if remember, we have a procedure that we're following. If I can find it. Let's see. We're following this procedure here. So here, this thing is always in the way. Okay. So we put our learning objectives. We have our instructional and activities. Now we need teacher support. Right. So now we need teacher support. In fact, let's see. Well, now we need teacher support. So you go back to create, you make material, and you can write Monday's teacher lecture, or teacher presentation. Let's not call it a lecture. Teacher presentation. All right, and then you can upload a PowerPoint, a YouTube, whatever you want to do to present that lesson. So they had to circle the verb, underline the verb, and underline the subject and circle the verb. Then you can go over the answers. All right, so you can do a YouTube, you can do a PowerPoint presentation, you can do an audio presentation, however you want to do it, whatever you feel comfortable with, and upload it here. So let's say it's a video from YouTube that you created and you added it to your YouTube. All right, let's see. So we go Reno Roberts. Let's see if I come up. All right. So that's one of my videos, right? So I added, and let's say this is an explainer video for my students on how to answer the questions from the first assignment. All right. Teacher, that was Sunday's lesson, right? So for Sunday. Teacher presentation, subject, verb, agreement. All right, and then you write a little description. Teacher explains the answers for Sunday's subject, verb, assignment. Okay, or if you want to give a lecture here, whatever you want to do. Then we assign that topic. That's going to fall under week 9. And we're going to post it. So let's see where it falls. So we just got to organize it a little bit. Let's see. So we'll put that right under Sunday. So when the students see it, they can see the objectives for the week. They can see Sunday's lesson. And they can see your presentation on how to explain the lessons. All right? Or how you explain the lesson or the worksheet, or you give them the answers. You can do that in YouTube. You can do that through Zoom. So Zoom, you can record your lessons just like we're doing now. I'm recording this, and then I can upload this video that I'm recording now right to YouTube. All right. So let me stop for 1 second. Let me stop share and see if anyone has any questions. Does anyone have any questions to this at this point? Hello? Does anyone have any questions?
ما شبعتش صح؟ ما شبعتش.
Yes.
كانت تغيب بس.
Hello? Does anyone,
فين ابن الذين؟
does anyone have any questions?
يا عم مفيش كويشن اثنين.
No questions? All right. I will continue. So I'm gonna go back to share my screen, which is very easy to do. And we'll go back to the same screen we was on. Where is it at? Right there. All right. So now the students, when they log into your classroom, they can see week 9. They can see all the objectives you have for week 9. They can see Sunday's lesson, Sunday's support presentation. Okay. Now, you could do this 2 ways now. You can go back in here and we can edit this. And if you want to put the support presentation as a video here, you can do that. The only difference is they might read the answers beforehand. So that's why I put it in a separate file, so they don't just read the answers automatically. So what you can do is you can say this is due. What we say, this was due on March the 18th by 8 p.m. And then after 8 p.m. is they can still turn it in, but it'll tell you that it's turned in late. And then after 8 p.m. you can upload your answer video. Okay, which is in essence a lesson, because you're explaining to students why the answer is the answer, are the answers for the assignment. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I just wanted to show you how easy Google Classroom is to use, it's easy to make material. Also, students are able to write notes right here. They didn't understand something, they can't open up the box, and they can go right to you. They can send direct messages to you, or they can share with the entire class. So this would be sharing with the entire class. If they only wanted to point you out, then they can click here and just individual, Mr. Ray. All right, everybody's in the class, or whoever they want to point out that conversation and make it private, or they want to share to the entire class, then they can just write the message here. So this lesson is hard. I don't understand. Right, and then they post that, and then in the stream, I'm going to be able to see that this lesson is hard. I do not understand. So let's add a student. Let's add me. So I'm gonna add a student, and I'm going to type in the name. Okay. So I'm going to add a student. And I'm going to invite that student. Now, again, I don't suggest we do it this way. I suggest you give the student the password, not the password, but the class ID, and then allow the student to join the class by using the plus sign. But you can do it this way also. So then I will go to my email. Go to my email, and hopefully code's in there. And you see it right there. I got an invitation to join Mr. Ray's 4th grade reading class. So I click on it, and then I just click join. And that's just, maybe it is simpler that way. So now this is, so now that student is a member of that class. So that student can, see, it should say, invite students. All right, it's invited. Let's see, it should give me student. It might take a minute to list me as a student, right? But eventually it will have Reno Roberts as a student, and then the student can go in and do the assignment, all right? And then this is how this is the grade function, all right? It says right now there's no students, so it's not gonna pop up. Let's see. So I'm gonna do something else with my phone. Let's go back and get that code, because I want you to see what the student will see, or I want to show you how I can grade their work. So I'm gonna go on my phone and pull it up. And there's actually a Google app classroom app that the students can download from on their phone, on their device. And I need to get out of this for a second. Change that over, yeah. All right, I'm gonna join a class, and then I'm gonna type that code in. All right. So now we should show a student in that class now. All right. So now you see Ray Roberts is in that class now. All right. You see that? Ray Roberts is in that class. So if I want to, so Ray Roberts is on my device. I'm going to be the student also. So I'm going to go and do the homework. I'm going to do Sunday's lesson. Let's see. Just give me a second. I'm just doing the lesson as a student. And then I click turn in. All right. So now I did a lesson as a student. So now we're going to see it in teacher view. When I go to Sunday's lesson, it's going to say that one lesson was turned in. Everyone see that? So now I can grade the lesson right from here. I click grade, turn in, and then I'll see what Ray Roberts did, what he turned in. So I'll click it. All right, so Ray Roberts turned in this. So I want to give him a grade. So I'll give him, he did a great job on it. So I'll give him 100. And then I can also leave a comment. So I can leave him a comment. I already gave him 100. I said, great job, Ray. Great job. I didn't mean to do all that. So I said, great job. All right. And then I can post it. So the student will get that message on their cell phone, tablet, or laptop. If they have the app, they'll get the message instantaneously, right away. All right. So now when I go, if we go into, now the grades, now we have the student has 100, and then you see the grade book, right? You even get the class average. This was Sunday's lesson, Monday's lesson. All right, I didn't put a due date on it, but Sunday's lesson, Monday's lesson. So now you get an automatic grade book. All right, it's very easy, very organized. Notice it says draft here. It says draft here for a reason, because I didn't, I need to view the submission. All right, you see up here, it says not returned. The student hasn't gotten the grade yet because I got to put return. All right, once I click return, now the student actually gets his grade and the comment I gave him. Before, it's just a draft. Okay. So Google Classroom is quite easy to use. It makes your life very, very easy. Now you see it's not draft, and the class average is 100 because there's only one student in the class. Okay. And if you had 10 students, it'll tell you what the student turned it in on time, but they turned it in late, whether you grade it. It's a great way to keep yourself organized. All right. And then you can go back to your class. So hopefully what you see here is that what you learned today, or if you didn't already know it, you have the stream where students can leave comments. You have the classwork where you can organize your lessons. Sunday's lesson, Monday's lesson, Tuesday lesson. So it falls into week 9. You can create another folder and say another assignment. And this is going to be from week 10. So Sunday, week 10, worksheet, prepositions. All right, and then I'm going to create a topic here. Create topic, week 10. So it's nice and organized for student. If you have a rubric, you can include the rubric and complete instructions, complete the worksheet. You could put a due date. You want to do by Monday, the 17th, or let's say the week 10 would be the 24th, the 24th. Time you want to do by 12 noon. Okay. And then if there's an attachment you want to attach to that, and you click assign. So now you got week 10. You want to put the week 10 below, right? So now you got week 10, and you can follow that same structure. Make sure you follow this structure. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Right here is make sure you have a folder for learning objectives for each week, or you can do it daily, however you want to do it, but it looks like it's better to do week 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's nice and organized for the students. The actual instruction you want them to do, the actual activity you want them to do, and then the lesson that you're going to record live, whether it's by voice or your video, that supports this activity. And then a feedback opportunity for them to provide feedback. So you can tell them they can leave feedback in the stream and you can read their comments. And then you can also give them an assessment, a quiz, or some type of assessment to make sure, formative assessment, make sure they're on track, or summative assessment, and then provide any additional resources. Okay. Unmute all. So somebody wrote that students need to be trained on it. It's so easy to use. What I use it with my students. Students are pretty good at it. The younger students may have a little difficulty. The parents can help them out. But it's pretty easy for the students to navigate, okay? The younger students, they may need, the first graders, second graders, they're obviously gonna need help. And this might not be the best tool for a first and second grader, but any online tool would be good for them. But for the upper grades, your third and fourth graders shouldn't have no problems navigating this because they probably have Facebook, Instagram, and all that other type of social media. So it should be pretty easy to use because all they're doing is doing the assignment and attaching it back to the, attaching it for you to grade. And they're clicking your videos so they can watch videos. But I do agree, you definitely would want to do a class or video, make a video showing them what I showed you today. So whatever platform you decide to use, it's going to be very, very important that you learn that platform. Google Classroom is the easiest one, as I showed you, to learn. I'm not sure whether Asadarah is going to want to spend the money to get other platforms. So it's going to probably make more sense just to go and use Google Classroom since it's free and it's quite easy to use and there are a lot of supports. Do you have any questions or are there any questions? Nikita, Khadija, Bassam, any questions? No questions? Somebody say something to me. No questions. So everyone's ready to go and put the information online, do the lessons online. All right. I'm going to, in the WhatsApp groups, I'm going to put that form so you can have, I would like to see in your platforms, the objectives in that objective box the way I just showed you, so the students know what the objectives are for the week, and they can take their right from your weekly plans. The activity, and then some type of video, audio, presentation, PowerPoint, explaining the or explaining how to do the or the correct answers, or whatever you want to do, explaining the whatever objective you have or whatever lesson you want to present. Give the students opportunity to give some feedback, and then give some type of assessment at the end of the week. When are these online schedules start? Scheduled to start. My suggestion is to start putting stuff up online as soon as possible. We don't know how long students are going to be out, so we need to start this week, i.e. Sunday, tonight, starting to create our classrooms, putting information online, and then making sure that students are able to access. But make sure you take your lead and your direction from Ms. Khartoum and Mr. Sabaha. But I would definitely start playing and tinkling around with Google Classroom right now. So you know how to use it, and start putting information up right now. The main thing with online, ladies and gentlemen, is that it should be very simple. Don't try to make it too complicated. Put a worksheet up, explain the worksheet, right? Explain how to do the worksheet. Just make it very simple. Put a folder up for objectives for the week. Put some whatever worksheet you put up, make a video that supports that worksheet or how to answer the questions. Okay? And then give the students an opportunity to give feedback. So one of the instructions may be, now that you have seen my video, please write comments in the stream, letting me know that you understand, or let me know if you have any questions. And then you wait a day, make sure the questions come. If the questions come in, you answer the questions. Okay? And then once you feel comfortable, by the end of that week, assign them some type of assessment, whether it's a quiz or whatever type of assessment you give them, to make sure they understood what you presented in that week. So I wouldn't, online, you don't present a lot of information. Just be very, very selective in what you present, the main points. All right, remember, virtual teaching is not like in classroom teaching. You want to sit very specific points. I'm gonna show you how to identify a subject. I'm gonna show you how to identify a verb. I want you to read this passage and figure out who the protagonist is, or who the antagonist is, or what the setting is. Okay, we're gonna do a writing workshop online. On this workshop, all I want you to do is write a simple sentence or write a compound sentence. And that's so make sure and this is why objectives are good, because it's gonna help you stay on track, okay? Just keep it very simple, ladies and gentlemen. Don't try to get too complicated when online, because you're not there with them. So just keep the instructions simple, and make sure that your classrooms are very organized, so the students can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This goes with this goes with that. Is the vocabulary that goes with this reading selection. Just make sure it's nice and organized, as I showed you. Are there any other questions? No? At any point in time, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to WhatsApp me. Do not hesitate to WhatsApp me. This is my WhatsApp. That's my WhatsApp number. Does somebody have a question? You see the background noise? That's the reason why you have to mute, unfortunately. And when you mute, it makes the interaction not good. But I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Thank you for your time. I will record this and upload it so you can review it at a later time and share it with your peers. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful day, rest of your day. Do not get corona. Wash your hands. Keep your hands from your face and your mouth because you do not want to be a zombie. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.